So in the last couple of videos, we saw two common module systems used in JavaScript, which is CommonJS and ES modules. So that was a bit of introduction. In this video, we are going to have a deeper look at CommonJS modules. So we earlier saw that in a file, if that is a CommonJS module, we can use a syntax something like const foo is equal to require, and let's say some file dot slash foo.js is there. Then we can require that file. So this require keyword is only available in CommonJS files, CommonJS modules, right? So when the JavaScript parser is specifically let's say in Node.js ecosystem, when they are trying to process a particular file, then how the parser has to decide that whether it is a JavaScript, whether it is whether it has to be passed as a CJS, which is CommonJS module, or ES module. So for that, there is a bit of convention which we are going to have a look at it here. So the thing is that Node.js will treat the following as CommonJS modules if the file extension, like the extension of the file which is there, if that has .cjs extension, or if it has JS extension and the nearest package JSON has either no type or it has type CommonJS. Okay, which means that either this thing is CJS, then it will be treated as CommonJS, or if it is JS, then the nearest package JSON, which means that nearest package JSON means that if you can consider the whole directory structure as set of files, then so in public, is there any packages or no, then it will go in outer directory. Then it will say, is in the outer directory then there is any package JSON? Yes, there is. If there is not, then it will keep on looking to the parent directory till the root of the file system, right? And if there is any package JSON and it has type missing or type CommonJS, then it is used, then that module will be treated as CommonJS module. So for example, here you will see that this package JSON, which is the nearest one here it has no package JSON, sorry, no type in this package JSON, which means that this thing will be treated as CommonJS, which means that if I now try to print something like this, so you see that if I don't do anything, if I simply put console log let's say hello, then that is fine. It will print, but this will print in ES modules also, CommonJS. So we are trying to understand that whether it is ES module or it must. So rather than properly requiring a file, we could simply print require also, because this require variable, you can see that it is printing, which means that it is not saying that require is not defined or something. You can see that this variable exists, so which also proves that this is a CommonJS module. This file is being treated as CommonJS module. Now you can see that is the reason is that nearest package JSON has no type. Even if type is there and that type is CommonJS, then also you can see that there is no issue. It will still be treated as CommonJS module. What if this is type is module? If type is module, then you see that it is showing that error which we saying, that if type is module, then this cannot be treated as CommonJS, it will be treated as ES module, which means that if you want it to treat as CommonJS, then you have to change the extension to .cjs. So if you rename it to .cjs and now you run this file, then you can see that now still it is running fine, which means that if .cjs, then whatever is the whether it is there, it is type module or type something, it doesn't matter, this will always be a CommonJS. But if this thing is not there, then the .js extension will be decided based on type module. If it is not there, then it will be CommonJS. If it is there and CommonJS, then it will be CommonJS. If type is module, then it will be yes module. Fair enough. Okay, so now we have seen just require. Now just let's see the require in action. So rather than simply printing something, I know that this thing is going to be, because there is no type, so this thing is going to be CommonJS. So let's create also a file, let's say foo.js, and now this foo.js is imported from index.js, and let's export something. So let's say export. So how the export system works in CommonJS, you do something like module dot exports is equal to, and then let's say foo 10 or something. This thing is exported, right? And now you see that this thing is exported, then here it is imported, and that is printed. So when I this CJS is not there, just .js, when I do this, then I get this foo10. So fair enough. Now the point is that how can we know that that what is the actual file which is running, which means that when a file is run directly from Node.js, then there has to be a way to know that which is the actual file running. So overall, this piece of code and this piece of code, both piece of code ran, but actually whether actually the invocation was done through foo.js or invocation was done through index.js, how do we know that? If we want to know that, then there is a variable attribute inside require.main. So what happens is that that is assigned to module if the file is directly running, which means that for this Node.js, okay, let's see what happens. That let's simply print a here, and the thing is that this require.main will be module. So if you do require.main, then this thing is going to be same as module, and later I'm not saying that you are modifying whatever is the default module, so you can like do it at the beginning also, right, if you intend to modify module variable. But the point is that you never do that, so that should not be a problem. So you can see that, let's say let's print that here, and let's print here b. Okay, you'll see that b is printed false and a is printed true. That is what I was saying, that whenever and why that is the case, because a, which means that in index.js, this is actually the file which is called directly using Node.js, right? So the file which is directly invoked, for that this thing is equal, require.main is module, that's why it is true. And for other files, for example files which are modules which are required, there this thing will not be true, and that's why it is false. So you can see that in b is required from a, not directly invoked. B is required from index.js, and that's why in this foo.js, which is required from index.js, the equality require.main is equal to module is false. Okay, and again whether you do this here or here does not matter, because I'm not reassigning module, right? I'm just reassigning to module.exports, not module, so that should not be a problem. Okay, you can see the same thing. So that is if you want to know that which is the file from where actual Node.js invocation has been done. Apart from that, you also sometime want to know that what is the exact file name which is actually required. Required means if I am requiring this foo.js, then what is the actual file? So you can see that here the whole file name is there, that is fine, right? In fact, that not whole file name, extension is missing, but anyways, I want to know the whole file name. So require.resolve is a function which gives us that thing, which means that if require.resolve and whatever is there inside require, so whatever is there inside require, you just take that, okay, and you do something like require dot resolve, and you pass that thing, okay, and there is no need of this thing, so let's remove this. Yeah, so let's print this. You will see that the whole path, the complete path of actual file which is resolved using require is printed. Okay, so this works for local files also. This works for packages from npm also. So let's see one more thing. So let's see, you have a folder, and that is scripts, and let's say similar to foo.js, there is something like let's say bar.js, right? And similar to here also you export something like, let's say, bar 20, okay, and you, rather than foo.js, let's say you are trying to see that is bar.js. So this will give error, right? Why? Because here you have to write exactly what you can write here. What you can write here means it is possible to write here or not. Is bar.js possible to write? No, it is not possible to write. Why? Because in the current folder bar.js is not there. In scripts folder bar.js is there, right? And that's why you can see that this thing will give error that module not found, right? But if you do /scripts/bar.js, then you can see that it will give you the full path. And now just contrast it with the earlier one. So you can see that inside public directly foo is there, and inside public scripts and then bar.js. You can see that you can get the whole path. And again, now since this is clearly sometimes it is used to sometimes this is used to, because you know, we earlier saw that uh, unlike unlike ES modules, JavaScript modules can be JavaScript modules in CommonJS uh, can be executed, can be required dynamically, right? Which means that you can do something like this, that if something like this, if this thing exists, right? Then let's say something like this. Yeah, so anything script/bar. So the point is that I know that that thing exists, and that's why this thing will be not needed. Now you can see that this thing is called, and this thing is I know that this thing is true, and that's why this thing is being going inside if, and that's why this is being required. So yeah, so it depends how you are using it, but the point is that if you want to get the whole file path of the required thing, that then this is used. Apart from that, there are several code modules which are pre-bundled with Node.js. What do I mean by that? Which means that there are some packages. And before that, let's discuss the same thing, require.resolve for non-local non-local means it is some npm package. For that, let's do the same thing. So let's see that, yeah, this thing is pretty straightforward. We know that we got the full path, but what if I do something like Lodash, or for that matter any package? And how Node.js decides that whether it is a remote package or or a local package? So it is a thing that if the name starts with slash or dot slash or dot dot slash, then it is a local relative path. Otherwise, it is a external package. So that is how Node.js resolves it. Now, so right now it is not starting with slash dot slash or dot dot slash, which means that Lodash has to be external package, npm package. So let's see whether we have installed that package or not. Looks like we have not installed, and that's why it will give us error anyways. Let's try that. Yeah, module not found. Cannot find module Lodash. So let's install Lodash for now. So npm I Lodash, and just I don't want to save it in package.json. You understand? So if I simply install Lodash, then it will be installed in package.json, right? I don't want to do that, so there is a command for that where you can write no save, and if you do that, then it will not be installed. It will be installed, but it will not be added to the package.json. So you can see that now if you do npm ls Lodash, then it is printed, but it is saying extraneous. Extraneous means that, yeah, it is there, but it looks like it is unnecessary because it is not there in packages, and it is fine because that is what we wanted exactly. Because in package.json there is no purpose to add it, because we just installed this for testing purpose. And what was the testing purpose? The testing purpose was that inside index.js we wanted to see that where is this Lodash package installed. And if we run this, then we can clearly see that the full path of this Lodash thing is there, which means that you have to go inside node modules, and then you have to go inside Lodash folder, and in that there is a file called lodash.js. So that is exactly the file which is being imported, and that's why that will be imported if you require it. So which means that require.resolve works for all files which are there, either it is local files or it is some some remote packages which are installed. Okay, so that should be fine. Now we were talking about core modules, which means that these packages are definitely added. These packages are definitely added by us, either local scripts modules or remote npm packages, but these are added by us. There are some modules which are pre-bundled. So something called let's say const path is equal to require path. Turns out that you can see that if you print path, then you will not see. So there is a lot bigger things is printed, but just for that matter, just see that it exists, and you can see that it is true, which means that this path thing exists. But there is no such package installed by us, right? npm ls path, if you do, then you can see that there is nothing, which means that from where it is installed. Let's try to do required resolve path, and turns out sorry, yeah, and turns out it is not giving us full path, it is just giving us path. So basically this thing is a special package which is already bundled with Node.js. You don't need to install it. It does not show you the actual path also because it is internal to Node.js. Moreover, it is without installing you are able to use it. And if you want to see that what are the things, so you can see that path dot resolve, so something like require dot resolve was there. So similarly you can see that path dot resolve also some function is actually there, which means that this is proper, this is a proper object with some functionality. Okay, so yeah, so these are core modules. There is another core module, something like this, which is called, which is HTTP. And you can see that that also works. But right now we are going to have slightly deeper look at path module. So path module is an example of core module, and like require.resolve, path.resolve also exists. But the difference is that unlike require resolve, path resolve does not check for the existence of the file. So earlier we saw that if we did instead of this, if we did, let's say, something like this, which means that this file does not exist, then it will give us an error, right? That you know what, this thing does not exist. But that is not the case in case of path.resolve. What path.resolve does is that it simply sees that I have to create a path, doesn't matter whether a file exists there or not. It is just trying to construct a path. Like you construct a URL, similarly you construct a path. So it has created this path, right? So it may be that you want to create a path, and then you want to check the path, and then whether the at that path some file exists in Node.js or not. That is one possibility. Another possibility can be there that you want to write some file to some location. Before writing, you want to construct a path, and then you write your contents to that file. So these can be the use cases, but the idea is that uh, it can give you a lot of information. So for example, and again, as I told you, this ola.txt, any file, even if it is not there, it will just show you that, yeah, with respect to, and if you don't pass anything, if you simply say dot, then it will give you current folder. If you simply do dot dot, then it will show you the previous folder path. If you see give dot dot and then give some file name, then it concatenates all the paths. Understand? So something like this. Let's say dot dot slash, and then you do something like path slash 2. Yeah, and you can see that if it is a dot, then it is inside hello world the current folder. And earlier we saw variables like dir name. So you can see that, and dir name will be the directory in which the current script is there. The current script is inside the public folder, right? And that's why now it is hello world public, and then path to Ola. So so you can understand. And when I do dot, right, then what was it? It was the so you can see that in this case and in this case the difference, right? The thing is that in case of dot, hello world was being taken. Why? Because dot means that the directory from where the script is executed, the directory from where the script is executed. Okay, let's try to go to public, and then here do node index js. Here this thing is this, and let's do dot, and you can see that in this case both are same. Why? Because here dot and dir name both are same, because I cd to the proper directory. So wherever this node command is being executed, that is the dir. So if I go outside and then do node and then public index, and even if my dir is public, but right now the dot is till hello world only, and that's why this will be hello world path to Ola. So yeah, so you understand that both are similar but the purpose is different, right? This is just for creating or constructing the files and paths rather than checking that. This thing is used just to exactly that if you if you do something, some require thing, then actually which file will be required. So this is used for that. This is just for constructing paths. Let's see something called file modules. Now if the exact file name is not found, then Node.js will try to help you by attempting to load some other things. So for example, if rather than foo.js, so let's see foo.js, you can see that foo10 is there, right? If you do simply like foo, you can see that foo10 is working fine even without extension. Why? Because automatically /foo is not found, then it is attempting for foo.js and then it will attempt for foo.json. You can see that foo.js is there and that's why it got. Similarly, if /script/bar is there, and any variable you can name, you can better to name it bar only, but the idea is that now script/bar is being attempted. Now you can see that yeah, bar.js is there, and that's why after bar it will try to attempt for bar.js, and that's why it will find that bar20, this thing it will find, right? But what if I specifically do bar.js? Obviously it will work also, but what if I have another file called bar.json, and then it has something like something like greet, and this should be a proper JSON, you see. Comma separated and then new or anything, let's say. So the idea is that this is a proper JSON thing, right? And if this thing is being imported, this thing can also be imported, right? So you can see that from here, rather than bar.js, you can import bar.json and you will get this thing. Now you try to understand that bar.json was a JSON text, but this thing which is printed is not JSON text, it is JavaScript object. So you can clearly see that this double quotes is gone and all this. So you can understand that after importing, they automatically do that sort of JSON.parse on that imported string, and whatever the native JSON object is created, that thing is given to us, right? Yeah, so which means that since this is a native JavaScript object, then anything like bar.greet and navi, whatever the objects are there, they are available. Okay, so that should be fine. But I was trying to show something else. I was trying to show that you can see that if you do bar.json, it is fine. If you do bar.js, this is also fine. But what if you only have bar, then it is taking bar.js, and that is because firstly bar.js is there, then it is attempted. If bar.js is not there, let's say rename it to some xyz, right? then what happens is that now when I try to run that, then you can see that scripts slash bar is not there. It tries for scripts slash bar.js. There is nothing like scripts slash bar.js. Then it tries for JSON, script slash bar dot JSON, that is there, right? And that's why we are able to see that. If this is also missing, let's say some PQR, this is also missing, then you can see that module not found. So you can understand that yeah, it tries for JS and JSON in that order, and tries to attempt those things so that it can intelligently help you if even if you miss extensions. So yeah, the idea is that this attempt foo.js and then foo.json as we saw just now. Now we also saw that right now we are dealing with CommonJS, right? Which means that if something like foo is there, then obviously not foo, sorry, bar. Something like bar is there, JSON is there, then it will work. But the idea is that if you use extension like CJS, then you have to, then this will obviously not work, right? Then you have to use extension CJS. Why? Because that automatic handling of extensions is only done for JS and JSON. Otherwise you have to have the full syntax. That is the first thing. What is this MJS? So right, like CommonJS has CJS, one additional support. Similarly, we will see the rules for ES modules. ES modules also has some rules where if like CJS is there, then irrespective of any other setting, that is treated as CommonJS. Similarly, if MJS is there, then irrespective of a type variable in package.json or something, that will be treated as ES module. Anyways, we will come to that later. But this does not apply for CJS or MJS. Actually, the point is that obviously MJS will be ES module, so you will not use the require syntax. But let's say you are using require syntax and you are using some unknown syntax. So let's say you are using bar.txt. txt is a known syntax, but in JavaScript world, txt is just simply unknown, right? But obviously this will fail because it is not there. But let's try to have the txt. Okay, so you can see two things. One thing is that bar.txt you have to give the full path, because otherwise it will become unknown. It is not a known syntax. Moreover, once you have the full that path, then after that by default it will be treated as JavaScript, which means that in bar.txt, even if you think like it is just a text, let's write anything, but it's not simple text, like it will give you a proper error, because it is not simple text file. If you are requiring it properly, then it will be treated as proper JavaScript file. Okay, so JSON will be treated as a JavaScript text files, but any unknown extensions apart from JS and JSON will be treated as will be passed as JavaScript text files if you require them. And we discussed it earlier that whatever we are requiring, if that is starting with slash, dot slash and dot dot slash, then they are like and also then that has to be these three things are saying that this is a local this is related to local thing, right? But and again, this slash thing is also ambiguous because it does not make sense always, but we'll see that in ES modules, this slash thing, actually ES modules can directly be handled on the browser also, and then that slash thing will mean basically the root folder. But anyways, these are the special cases. If it is simply starting with any other thing, which means that normal letter or something it is starting, then which means that if something like this is there, then it will not work. It will not work. It will try to look for some scripts package in node modules or something. You understand? This will never try to look for local things. So that is the thing. Now we just saw that bar dot JSON. So what if directly some folder is used, which means that if we do something like let's say /scripts, understand, something like this, will this work? Will this work? You can see that it is not working. Why? Because scripts.js should be there. Script.js. However, if there is a folder, and inside that folder, if we have index.js, then actually it works. You can see that it works. So earlier we saw two things. Actually, there is a third thing also, right? And what if both are there, which means that, so this is one thing, let's say foo20, and let's say there is one another scripts, not here, here. Let's say I create a file called scripts .js, right? And let's do that bar 40. You can see that if a file is there, then that is given priority, right? Let's convert that to some JSON. You can see that I just imported scripts, only scripts, which means that it is trying for scripts.js, then it is trying for a scripts.json. If both are not there, then it is trying for then it is checking whether scripts folder exists or not. If the scripts folder exists, then it checks for index.js. So you can see that now this thing is got right. And now again, if this thing is also not there, and let's say this thing is not there, then it will look for index.json. So you can see that this greet hello thing from index.json is coming. So now you can see that this is the order in which it is happening. So if foo folder exists, then foo/index.js and followed by foo/index.json, these are also attempted to be loaded in that order. Now you might think that, okay, so I'm confused that actually from here I just called /scripts. What is the actual thing which is imported? Again, you can use the require.resolve to see that, right? So if you see, so let's say you simply log that require.resolve, and you see that if I do /scripts, then whatever is actually printed, that is the actual thing which is imported. And you can see that index.json, right? Had it been also index.js, then you will see that this thing is bar 20, which is this this file, and now you can also see that now script slash index.js is actually attempted. Okay, so this is also the idea in which you can use folders as modules. Okay, so that will be all for now for regarding CommonJS modules. We'll see more about next. We almost CommonJS modules are finished. We'll see a bit more in deep about ES modules in some later videos. So that's all for now. Thanks a lot.